Okay, here we are back outside. I'm really digging this new microphone. I think it's gonna work out great here. So, again to mention that if you do like if you like my videos, and if you know anyone else that you think would enjoy them, please share using the bit.ly link at the bottom of your screen. And just kind of building off of what I talked about in the last video. So right now I'm not spinning that many plates. I can't really afford to. But yeah, the main gig thing is main gig deal is a thing, or main gig thing is a deal. I don't know. And I mean, with the stuff I have going on now, it's not that bad. But I am planning on spinning more plates. So I started looking into project management software to manage it. So looked for software that ran on Linux, because that's what I run. all my home computers run Linux. So just to kind of familiarize myself with what's entailed in that. And I tried Project Libre, and they have a nice Gantt chart and resource management tools. And I started thinking, just do something local, because right now, I mean, I'm not really interfacing with anyone on, I'm not outside of my podcast, I'm not really collaborating with people out for projects, and that's kind of as low with the podcast, it's low requirements. So I mean, we don't really need anything special to do it, to collaborate, although that can always, there's always improvements to be made. So but then I started thinking, down the line, I'm going to need something online where because I'm potentially going to be interfacing with people halfway across the globe. So a local piece of software is not going to work in that instance. And I'd rather right now my requirement, I don't really have anything going on that requires me to really collaborate with people on in that way. I mean, but again, that's going to change. So I decided, just start looking into the something online, because I'd rather get into a workflow that's going to work for my career farther down the line, like right away. And so I started looking online project management software, and it was just pages upon pages upon pages upon pages upon pages upon pages. And after doing research, as for reading blogs, watching review videos on YouTube, and that stuff, there's as many ways to do online project management software as there are project management software providers. So then I started. Now, when you're talking about, now in this situation, obviously, we're looking at requirements that for something that I'll be doing in the future, or a workload that I'll be I'm looking to do in the future. That there are known knowns, there are known unknowns, and there are unknown unknowns. And so I just listed out the things that I knew I would need something out of a platform like this. So I like the Gantt chart. Now, as far as software goes, UI and UX are like huge pieces, and a big part of that is how the data is displayed, and I find the Gantt chart to be good as far as getting a bird's eye view on a project, and see how all of the different tasks how the different tasks interact with each other, as far as one being dependent on the other, and how all of these things kind of affect the timeline of the overall project, and also critical path and that kind of stuff. And one thing I found in my research was, what is it, Kaban, Kaban, I think it's spelled, but it originated in Toyota out of Japan, and it mimics like sticky notes on a board, and kind of going across as it with as it progresses through the project. And I mean that's not the only way you can use that particular format or view or whatever, but that's generally how it's used. And so those two had to be part of it. And also, I didn't want to force anyone onto a platform. So so they had to have ways to collaborate with people out that don't have like a paid subscription. So I didn't want to get into a situation where I'd be saying to contractors and vendors and all, or whatever, saying, yeah, if you want to work with me, you're gonna have to sign up here and pay X amount a month. And like, wait a second, I didn't sign up. I didn't ask for this. This isn't part of our agreement. So they had to have a system set up where you could interface with external people outside of the platform. I mean, if whether that means you sign up for a free account that's dependent upon working on this project, then okay, fine. But at least I'm not saying, okay, you have to incur an additional expense just to, so there's that. I also need one that has granular control over the budget and cost. Because right now, as far as right now, the numbers that we're looking at are zero. Right now, I'm not I'm not getting paid for any of the projects I'm doing right now. So I'd like to, be able to set my rate on a per project basis. What else? Also, I needed a way to export all of my raw data onto like a spreadsheet or something along those lines, so that because companies come and go, especially in the digital age. I mean, a lot of people still remember the whole Nest thermostat debacle, and they're and also Google Reader, because they're just sometimes companies decide, what, this isn't working, so we're dropping this whole completely on this date. And that was also a requirement for me on using something like that, for using platform. And another requirement was what's their GDPR compliance level. For GDPR, that's a big nebulous topic, but essentially it's a law out in the EU that deals with how you communicate with your users in terms of how you're using their data. And one big part of the GDPR is the right to forget that online companies that deal with people that have that deal with data from people in the European Union. There's certain requirements that they have to, they have in terms of notifying their users and people as far as how they're using their data, how you inform them to remove your data if you're no longer associated with them. So, and that's a big deal with me as far as how companies use user data. So they had to be good stewards of personal data. Now, granted, they're only legally obligated to do this for their users' data. Now, in terms of the people that their users are integrating with, that's something totally different. That would be my responsibility. So that was another requirement. I've narrowed it down to a few. I've narrowed it down to a few, which I'm not gonna name. I just wanted to. So I still have some questions for the ones that are kind of on my final list, as far as things that I wasn't able to find on their website or through other or what have you. Just wanted to. Invoices. That's another thing. Is that I kind of like at some point, once I start doing paid work, invoices are going to be involved. So so I just wanted to talk about kind of like the process I went through in this. Okay, a little overexcited on the on the accelerator there. So yeah, I just wanted to share kind of like the process I went through, and so yeah, again, it builds on the, you know, it takes a village topic that you know, I mean, they're just. And, you know, at least for me personally, I'm going to need a unified thing to kind of keep track of, like, you know, scheduling tasks and, you know, invoicing and all this kind of stuff. So, because I mean, everything I'm involved with right now, I mean, I can keep track of it right here. But as I scale up, I'm going to need something that organizes all of that. So that's all I have for this one. I do thank you for watching. So if you do like what you see, please like and subscribe. And if you do have any comments or questions, please post them below. And I'll see you in the next chapter.